Isn't it weird how a recipe can take you back to a certain moment in time? Well, this Greek-style lamb does this for me, and it reminds me of time spent with my dad in Detroit. It's a tasty seared braised lamb shank in a delicious Greek-style tomato sauce and served up over a bed of orzo. And we're going to be doing this in partnership with my friends over at the American Lamb Board. The first thing we're going to do, though, is knock on a little prep. Sound good? Let's cook. I've got one large yellow onion. You could also use a sweet or a white onion here. Slice off the end, slice it in half, remove that outside peel, and guess what? This time, we're not going to dice it. What I am going to do, though, is finely grate it on a microplane grater. We want these to be very, very small so that they incorporate into the tomato sauce with ease. It will be a little pulpy, just like this. We're going to do the exact same process with about 4 garlic cloves. Do these in separate bowls and then just simply set them to the side. So when researching this recipe, I called my good buddy Chris, who's a chef and is Greek, and I asked him about mirepoix, onion, celery, garlics. Can I add that in there? And he said, yeah, we're Greek. We put whatever the heck we want in our food. And I gotta admit, I like that mentality. So if you'd like, we're gonna grate up a little bit of carrot and a little bit of celery. Now we're going to be doing that exact same process. We want to integrate it right into the sauce. So we are going to finally grate up 1 rib of celery. And then I have 1 medium-sized carrot, which we are going to peel and then again finely grate into the bowl. You can do it into the same one with the celery, no problem. And now for the lamb shanks. I have 4 in total. They weigh in between 14 ounces to 1 pound each, or about 400 to 450 grams each. These are 100% American lamb shanks. They come from the bottom section of the leg just below the knee. This cut is perfect for slow cooking until it falls off the bone. What we want to do at this stage is generously season it on all sides with sea salt and fresh cracked black pepper. Then I'm going right over to the cooktop where I have a 7-quart or 6.6 liter rondeau pot. We're next going to add in 3 tablespoons or 455 milliliters of olive oil. Then we're going to turn the heat up to high. We want to get this oil smoking just like this. Once it is to this smoke point, we're next going to add in our lamb. Be sure to space it out. That's why I love the rondeau pot, because it leaves plenty of room to sear and not steam. Excellent. Once all the lamb is in there, we are going to turn the heat down to medium-high. And we're going to take the time to sear this lamb on all sides. We want it brown on all 4 sides. This is just going to make this dish that much more flavorful. Once they are perfectly golden brown, just like this, and we're talking 2 to 3 minutes per side, we're going to take them out of the pan and set them to the side on a plate. And look, if you feel the oil's a little bit too dark, too brown from searing up that lamb, no problem. Just discard it and we'll start off with fresh oil before we cook our onions. Adding that same rondeau pot right back to the burner, got rid of that old cooking oil, adding in 3 more tablespoons or 45 milliliters of fresh olive oil. We're about medium heat. I'm adding in the onions. It's a little bit too hot, so I'm going to turn the heat down to low, medium, something like that. We are going to take the time to brown these up very well. Now, for a full caramelization, it's not going to take 45 minutes or so. It's probably going to take around 20 minutes. And Comies, you know I say it in every single video, take the time to get that beautiful sear, not only on the lamb, also on the onions. It will make this dish that much more flavorful. We're not in a rush. We want perfect, delicious food. I promise you, it'll be worth it. It's been about 15 minutes or so. Let's go back and check out the onions. I like to stir it maybe every 3 to 4 minutes. You see that beautiful brown on there already. Absolutely gorgeous. This is going to go a long way in our dish. So at this stage, we're going to add in the carrots and celery. We're just going to cook this for maybe 3 to 4 minutes, bring out some nice flavors, nothing too crazy. Then at this stage, we're going to add in the garlic, and you know how I roll. As soon as it's fragrant, as soon as you smell it, it's done. And that only takes about 30 to 45 seconds. Now at this stage, we're going to add in 1 cup or 236 milliliters of red wine, a Cabernet Sauvignon, a Merlot, or if you can get a good Greek red wine, please do it. Next, I have 2 28-ounce cans or 1,588 grams in total of whole peeled tomatoes. You know I love San Marzano tomatoes, so I'm going in there and I'm crushing them by hand.
You could also use canned tomatoes. I've got a great recipe for home canned tomatoes from my garden. You can use that as well, but crush them up by hand just like this. Now at this stage, let's go back over to the rondeau pot. You can see that the wine is au sec or almost gone. It's been absorbed and incorporated into everything. That helps concentrate the flavor. Let's pour the tomatoes right in there. Then we're going to add in 2 teaspoons or a half gram of dry oregano, 1 teaspoon or 1 gram of dry thyme leaves, 1 cinnamon stick or 2.5 grams of ground, 8 allspice berries or 1 gram of ground allspice. Then we want to generously season it with salt and fresh cracked black pepper. Now you want to adjust the seasonings here because this is going to be our braising liquid and it's going to influence the flavor of our lamb. So once it's mixed together, get a spoon and try it. See if it needs more of something else and make sure it's good to go.
I'm sure you're already thinking allspice berries, cinnamon, in tomato sauce. I promise you it is incredibly classic to do so. My buddy, the chef, who's also Greek, said the same thing. Definitely do it. In return, it is going to make the sauce more delicious, and then the lamb is going to be that much more flavorful. Bear with me, it is all good. Here's what we do now.
Add the lamb right back into that pot. They do not need to be completely submerged at all. Now, once they are in there, we're going to add on a lid, adding it to the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 176 degrees Celsius. It's going to take about 2.5 hours for it to be fork tender.
So the first time I ever had this dish, I was visiting my parents while in college and we went to Greektown in Detroit. There's a casino there. Maybe I was at the blackjack table, maybe not. Anyways, afterwards, we went to a restaurant called Pegasus. We both ordered the Greek-style lamb shank. It came out, the sauce, so good. The lamb fell right off the bone, the orzo pasta, all of it. Awesome. So every time I go back, we always go there. It always revokes those memories in my brain and takes me back to that original moment that I had, always spending time with my dad, which I love every single time I get to do it. That's why food is so cool and so powerful, because it can just transfer us back to those moments. I love it. All right, don't go that far because we're going to come back. We need to boil off some orzo once our lamb is getting close to being finished.
All right, we are rounding third. Let's cook up some orzo. I've got a large pot of boiling salted water. Remember, it should be as seasoned and as salty as the ocean. We're going to add in 1 pound or 454 grams of orzo pasta. I like to move it around with a rubber spatula or spoon just to make sure nothing sticks together. This cooks till al dente or to the tooth in about 6 to 7 minutes, so it cooks very quickly. Once it is finished, we're just going to drain it off completely. Give it a few shakes just to make sure most of the water is out of there. And then what I'm going to do, this is totally optional. I'm just going to add it back to a saute pan and add in about a 1/4 cup or 60 milliliters of extra virgin olive oil. It's going to add some nice olive flavors. Got a lot of Greek in this dish. Then we're going to generously season it up with salt. No reason for fresh cracked black pepper. If you want, fine, no worries. Just stir it in there. Give it a quick little saute for about 2 to 3 minutes, then set it to the side.
You definitely have options with the orzo. You could finish it with a little feta cheese, make it nice and cheesy, or a hint of lemon. I like to keep it very simple, very easy, so I can taste all that lamb, and this is just a compliment. All right, the lamb is done. We're gonna take it out. Looks amazing, smells amazing. Always goes back to these techniques. I always tell you, practice them over and over again. I promise you, your homemade food from scratch will always be better every single time. Let me show you how to plate this up.
I'm going to add a good amount of that cooked orzo right to the bottom of a bowl, then adding on 1 lamb shank. It is perfect, it smells incredible. Then we're going to top off with a lot more of that sauce. Be very generous here. And then optionally, I've got some chopped fresh oregano, thyme, and parsley. So good.
The smells, the flavors, so good. I wish my dad was here. He would be like, this is exactly like Pegasus. All the memories coming back while making this. I'm pretty sure you and your family are really gonna dig this. And if you just love lamb, definitely check out my roasted bone and leg of lamb. Oh, incredible. I've got an awesome recipe video. I'll see you on there.